Welcome to the Energizing America podcast, where we talk all things energy and why we need it in our business, communities, and life. And we're sitting down with Drew Sutton, who finally appeared after, boy, how long have you been gone?
27 weeks.
27 weeks, you weren't counting. And Tyler Bruckmeyer, our Twin Ports electrical manager. We're coming off a little bit of a high, Drew. What did you just finish?
We just finished doing the automation upgrade at the Marshfield compressor station there in Wisconsin.
Awesome. So this was a project that was about 4.5 hours away from our home office. How large? You've been there 27 weeks. How many guys at the peak did you have on that job?
At most, I think we had 13.
13 guys at once. How in the world does a guy run 13 guys? Was it a challenge?
Actually, no, because we have good guys to work with. You know, for the most part, you just got to point them and let them do their thing.
So one of our core values is to empower people. You feel like we got folks on our team who actually just, if you give them that rope, they'll run?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep, and I believe they're more than qualified and very good at what we do. So
awesome. So what does an automation project involve?
So everything, I guess, for these, everything from the unit controls to like the fire and gas emergency shutdown systems and
all new
stuff
equipment
like that.
we demoed out the old equipment,
Right.
put in new equipment. There were several change orders that got thrown your way because, like the control room, we had a mess in there, and they decided to take advantage of it and
Right.
remodel it into a nice place. So we, in order to pull off a project that takes 27 weeks, we need a lot of resources. How do we do from our office here helping you out?
Oh, the office was excellent.
Was it?
Yeah, everything I needed or any kind of help or equipment or anything, you guys were on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
What was your biggest challenge on this 27-week job?
I honestly, it was a lot, but didn't really seem that challenging.
Not anything huge. Probably part of it is just to keep your mojo when you're that far out of town.
Yeah, just to stay busy, I suppose, or not even busy, just focused. You know, it is hard being away from home, but
Yeah, and some of our guys also, right? They're away from home.
right.
So, Tyler, how did Drew do on this project?
From our standpoint, excellent. We couldn't have really asked for a better foreman. I mean, he was, communication both ways is key. Whether it's telling us what you need, telling us how you're feeling. I feel like it was great both ways.
And I made the comment, so today was our annual softball game, which I think both of you, were you on the losing team? No, you were on the winning team with me. My teammates. Were you, Drew?
I didn't play. I was just a little late. I was headed back from Marshfield today.
That's right. You just wrapped this job up, so you came in a little late. But I made the comment at this softball game to Drew, Tyler, that this was probably our first large project that we seriously, we nailed it. It just went awesome. And I'm sure there's a host of things, but what comes to your mind when you think about, if we could repeat that, what are some of the things that were an element of our success?
I feel, of course, good pre-work, a good bid. I mean, to begin with, I think with the experience we have now, that's more and more likely the more experience you have. Second of all is like the communication, having a dedicated project manager, on the project. Me and the project manager working closely with Drew. And I feel like that was key to keeping the workflow successful.
What about the employees? Do they make a difference on that job?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, you get these like 4 to 6 core guys that we sent down to give Drew help at different times of the project, whether it was with tubing or whether it was with terminating or whatever. These guys they're huge to a success of this type of project.
And not just, these aren't just regular employees, right? These are folks, some of them, you had some young guys on your team, didn't you? You probably had even a couple 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I did. But, I also had some more practice help or some with some experience, and they did a real good job teaching the younger ones, too.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about electricians, guys, is that, and I like to think it's anywhere you go, that the older fellows with more experience or the seasoned people, they're automatically taking the younger guys under the wing and showing them. But we've had our struggles there embracing that at times as an organization, because it's not fun. When you're running a job and you're trying to explain what a set of wire strippers is to a green hand, it can be deflating, right? I don't think we gave you that bad of inexperienced folks. But I think once we do it and those folks train up, it's like you, Drew. How long have you been an electrician?
Oh, I'm getting close to 10 years now.
Close to 10 years. You've worked for us for about 4?
This is actually my first full year back.
First full year back.
Will be a year.
Okay. So you took a little break from it when the oil prices suffered out in North Dakota. right? And then you came back and been doing these road projects for us. But the thing is even in 10 short years, you've moved from an apprentice to a journeyman. You got your master's too, don't you?
Yep, I got my master's. I was 22.
22 when you got your master's. Mm-hmm. And so now you're running a project, and we don't need to get into the financial details necessarily, but this was a several $million project that we just pulled off, right? And so how old are you?
26 as of Wednesday.
26 as of Wednesday. Well, happy belated birthday if I forgot. Here's the thing, guys, is when we look at these projects, so often people want to say you have to have experienced people who've done 100 of these. There's all these criteria that you're trying to prove yourself. And then in walks a Tyler coupled with a Trent and a Drew, and bam, we bang one of these out. The client, how many times did they tell you how awesome we are?
A lot. I mean, they were all smiling and happy when we left. So,
tell me about the closeout. How do we know we're done?
Well, we walked through with their construction manager and all the operations guys and their inspector, and we just kind of went and made a lap. We were like, looked at this and made sure nothing was deficient or we didn't leave nothing out, and
that's that.
Everybody's happy. They asked the operations guys, "Are you happy?" They said, "Yep," and they signed their thing, sent us on our way.
That's awesome. So when you get the word that the project is closed out, what else comes with it? Do you get a report from them showing how we did, or a score?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, of course, every day, with our field ticket, the app that we have, we get reports daily that we can read from the office. These are reports that Drew fills out to fill out the field ticket. So that gives us a good thumb on what's happening on the day-to-day and when the project will be, I guess, closing out. And, of course, there's a one weekly meeting for the project, like an update meeting. And we keep a close finger on that, along with Drew, keeping communication. But yeah, I think that, just from the report we got, like a 4.5 out of 5. I mean, that's for a first, like Drew's first big project, Trent's first big project, to manage. I think we couldn't ask for better.
So this particular client, I really appreciate this about the client, right? We like to pair ourselves up with clients that provide value. We've done work for clients before that they're easy to point out the bad things about your organization or like the personal things, but they can't ever give you a substantial report. And so when I hear that we're having our project closeout, and of course I was just there last week, so I had seen, or 2 weeks ago rather, I'd seen this project, and I came back and I mentioned to everyone in the office, like, it doesn't even look like we were there. It's almost disappointing. The thing looks so beautiful, you can't even tell we were there. Then we remodeled the whole thing because electrical, it gets buried, right? The only way we know we were there is we have that awesome new looking gas detection equipment hanging around. But when the word came back that the project closeout meeting went well and we got a score of 4.5 out of 5, John was certainly excited. I know you were, Tyler, and Trent was. But I just was most excited by the fact that we actually got a report from the client. Because I think, Drew, you've asked me about this, but you don't always know how you're doing on a job, right?
No, you just kind of have to guess, I suppose.
Yeah, you're just kind of going through the motions, right? You're working through your day. So when you actually get a report from a client that says, in 4.5, I mean, come on, guys, this particular client, they're not an easy client. They expect a good, solid project. So a 4.5, I don't know how we could have ever done better. What were a couple of things that brought us from a 5? Do you recall?
No, I hadn't heard anything about it. He just told me it was basically impossible to get 5 stars. So
impossible to get 5 stars. I think they gave us a couple of reasons, right, Tyler? What, like anyone?
I feel it was like some manpower pulling some guys off the project, maybe a little too early in their opinion.
Yeah.
And boy, I don't remember the other.
For sure, I heard about the manpower thing, and that's the one I think that we just struggle with as an organization, right? We all know these electricians are hard to find. And then so we find them, we put them to work, we do awesome things that Drew does out in the field, and then the client says, send us more, so we send them more, and then they give us more work, and all of a sudden we're in this pickle of, hey, we got to make some moves around. How do you manage that, Drew, when guys are coming and going?
Well, you just, for one, it helps a lot when everybody's happy to be there. Attitude has a lot to it.
Okay, hold the bus. You're telling me 4.5 hours away from home, working 27 weeks on a job, people are happy to be there?
Yeah, we had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually almost a little sad it's over with.
So what are you going to do with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the feeling after we get done with the large project.
Yep, post-project depression. It's real.
I
think it can be for a lot of folks. I've heard that before. Have you experienced that, Tyler?
Yes, I have. I can totally relate. The two larger projects that I've been involved with in my career that, you do. It's a letdown when it's all done. The end's really fun, really exciting. A lot of things happening, a lot of things coming together, and then bam, it's done.
The only good thing about a project ending is it gives you an opportunity to start another one, right? So, because some of those projects, if they go too long, they just drag out. But this particular project, I mean, I had to go back and check in my notes, when I had been out there last week, and I was so surprised that we've been there that long. Normally when we're on a project that long, I think even the office can start to drag. Like, oh, are you kidding me? They had to go back to Marshfield, We never heard that. So going back to these guys, when they come and go, you had to make some modifications because we got more work. So you got some new crews sent out to your way. It helps that they're happy there. What else can we do to ensure that these guys do the right thing?
It definitely helps to have more experienced hands. I know they're towards the end. I ended up with a few fresh ones. And that was maybe a little bit of a, I don't know, I'm not going to say a struggle, but just...
It was more challenging.
It was more challenging, exactly. And, it probably would help a little if we just kept some of the originals there more towards the end. Because I think I was the only one that made it from start to finish.
You were. I mean, and that's the challenge of every organization in the trades, right? You try so hard. I mean, Tyler, what are you doing? It used to be a 2-week look ahead for manpower, but what are you now? You're going out way months, ain't you?
Yeah, trying to stay, a good solid schedule, at least 30 days. And usually I have it built out 2.5 months. And with the schedules and this, materials and all this, the challenges we face today, it is so hard to get a firm schedule from these customers, different clients, I guess I should say.
They'll actually even issue us a purchase order with an expected completion date, and we can't get going because we can't get that blasted material. And then so you're dealing with guys on Sunday night wondering where the heck they're going to go tomorrow, and it's been a big challenge. How'd the material do up at Marshfield, Drew?
Great, actually. Most of all the engineered stuff was customer provided, and they had it ordered way before.
And so I think that's another element of the success of that project was not just did Westcom proper plan, but the client did, right? And this client, they're trying really hard to do that more and more, and I think that's the only way these clients can succeed long term is if they're willing to take that risk on and really plan the project well. Because I don't care, Drew, we could have sent you an A team with a bad project manager. You would have had a bad result.
I believe
we could have sent you an A team with a really bad foreman. We would have had a bad result. We could have sent you an A team without a good electrical guy here in the Twin Ports, an electrical manager like Tyler looking ahead for 2 weeks, and we would have failed, right? It takes everything to run at an optimum to pull off a Marshfield, Wisconsin project.
Yeah.
And when you look around, it's not just a Drew, it's not just a Tyler, it's not just a Trent. It's everyone working together, and I think that's a cool part about those large projects, right? I mean, certainly, Tyler, you can't claim credit for the project.
No, it's a big team effort, and I think I feel like my involvement was pretty small, in my own estimation. But I think that everybody that, besides Drew being on site every day, he was very involved. But even Trent, we're there, we're doing what we can, but like you said, it takes a team to make it happen.
For sure. How many man hours did we have over there? Do you remember? It was well over 10,000, or we were approaching 10,000, right? Yeah. Out of those 10,000 man hours, Drew, how many safety incidents did you have?
2.
You had 2 incidents. Anyone get hurt?
Not majorly.
Not majorly. So what were the incidents that you had?
One guy got a small piece of plastic in his eye.
Okay.
And we washed it out. He was fine. Good to go. 5 minutes worth of, break.
Yep.
And another one, we pulled the plug. It had a little bit of pressure on it too. And had a little small spill, but nothing major.
Okay. So a little small spill, and we had a little plastic incident in somebody's eye. But in 10,000 hours, no lost time from work, no recordable incidents, no... what would we call those phone calls you get when Houston calls sometimes, those oh dear moments, none of those moments.
Nope.
Do you think how much of your team's camaraderie and getting along goes into actually having a result like that? Does it matter that you guys all respect each other to have a safe job site?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we didn't get along, it wouldn't have worked.
Tell me about the culture. Was that team willing to speak up when they saw something safe?
Yeah.
Or unsafe, rather?
Definitely. We all kept a pretty good eye on one another, and I think we helped a lot.
So when you think about that project starting, how did it How was every day? Did you start with a tailgate or a JSA meeting? What did that look like?
Yeah, every morning we'd sit down and do the JSA, and I would walk around the trailer and I would ask everybody, "What are you doing today?"
Nice.
And if they got something for me, great. That's what they're doing today. If they didn't, we would get there.
So you kind of combine the safety with the project planning every day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important to know what everybody's working on and where they're going to be at, just to make sure nobody's running over each other.
What about when you're working that tight with each other? What do you do in the evenings? Do you like talk to each other, or are you like ready to like get out of my life? I'm going back to my hotel. You go to your hotel.
Hung out with the guys a lot.
Did you?
After work.
What kind of stuff did you do in Marshfield?
All kinds of stuff. We went to play golf. We went and shot some guns. Name it. Rode around the town.
Nice.
Just out and about.
I actually had the privilege, Tyler, you were gone on vacation, but when I went to Marshfield, that I had forgotten something at my office here in town, so I had to go to the local Walmart to get it. And when I did that, I was shocked because like the normalcy of that Wisconsin town was something to behold. I'm still shocked by it. Like, did you get an opportunity, Tyler, to explore Marshfield at all?
I didn't spend much time. I went and ate a few different times for lunch, but not much versus just driving through.
The people there are just incredible, and I couldn't help but wonder how much that's impacted our job success too. And that goes right for this client. Did you get along with the folks on site?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ops guys were awesome. Just everybody all the way around was awesome. We didn't have no major disagreements or any kind of screaming matches or anything like that. It was a pleasure to work with them.
That's awesome. Do you have any parting shots at Trent? Anything that the office could have done better?
No, they did exactly what they needed to do. Everything I needed, just but nothing but a phone call away. Other than that, they just kind of let me do my thing, and it was awesome.
What do you think, Tyler?
Wouldn't change nothing.
Do we need any parting shots to Drew?
No, keep it up. In my opinion, I do agree with Shane. Like, if from the office side, we sure would like any feedback, anything there, because we know there's room for improvement everywhere, right? And if we can get, hey, I was thinking about this. Hey, next time if we could give me a little more time on this, whatever. These type of things they're very valuable for us here in the office because inevitably we're all learning together.
Right. Well, and we don't want to. So here's you talked about project depression, project closeout depression. One thing that we'd never want to do is stop improving, right? So when we have success, we don't want to just say, oh, that was awesome, so now we don't have to do anything. I was making this comment the other day that every successful project will lead to another successful project so long as you improve on it. But the minute you think you've made it, there is no cruise control, right? We can't hit cruise control and say, oh, the next project we're just going to do great. The reason why we did good on Marshfield, let's talk about all those things and even improve on those items, right? And I know we can, and even if we don't, right? Even if we just have that lofty goal, we're at least continuing that conversation and the next project is going to go just as good as this one. So when we talk about feedback, I know that you get an awesome team like we have at Westcom, it can be uncomfortable sometimes to say, well, I wish Trent would have been more responsive. And I know that's not the case. I'm making something up. Or, I wish Shane wouldn't have showed up because he's just a distraction on the job. But regardless, we're going to continue this conversation and just make sure that we have the next opportunity like Marshfield, Drew. You're going to be a critical person on our team. And I have to say, seriously, job well done. It's been an awesome project to be part of from afar. I don't get to do any of the details in it anymore. Tyler and John, they cut my legs if I try and get too involved, but you guys just all around absolute bang up job, and thank you very much for the project.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been great. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler, for coming.
Yeah, thank you.